What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Vinny the Villain here from the Council of Trolls, here today to bring you some more gaming news that has happened recently. But first, before we get too deep into this, I'm going to need you guys to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell notification for our weekly gaming news updates. Without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about this new Google gaming console that is right around the corner. Today is the 17th. We have the GDC event going down on the 19th. This is where Google plans to unveil their gaming plans for the future and their perception of, I guess, what the gaming industry should look like. Now, it was rumored some time ago from Kotaku that Google would be doing a gaming platform that would rival that of Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony, and we're right around the corner from that finally occurring. And there's a lot of speculation on what exactly is going to be going down here, so I want to take just a few minutes to touch on that just a little bit. Recently, a scheme was released where it unveiled what this controller for this Google console would look like. Now, I don't know if this is 100% the final product or not. However, an artist has done a rendition of it where they basically took the scheme of the controller and went ahead and, superimposed certain colors and, what color-wise what it would look like, right? So basically we have the skeleton of the dinosaur, and someone is coming up with a scheme of what they felt like that dinosaur looked like. Style to the side, right, because we really don't know the actual color of everything. When you're looking at the controller, I have to say it looks really fucking ugly. The controller looks very uncomfortable. It has this sort of really squared base to it. It doesn't even look like I could fit my three fingers from my middle finger to my pinky finger around it to grip it comfortably. It really does look like one of those sort of knockoff consoles you would buy on like the end cap of like a Walmart shelf or something of the sort. I can't envision holding this controller for more than 2 hours without my hands getting way too tired. Overall, the controller looks pretty standard in regards to, you have the 4 face buttons, you have the D-pads, you have the 2 analog sticks, you have a pause button and a home button as well. The analog sticks have a very similar position to the DualShock. They look really small. I don't know, I'm just not having good feelings about this controller. There is a very interesting aspect to this controller, which might be the first thing that we see where this gaming console is actually differentiating itself from the other 3 platforms, which is this Google button. And many have gone on to speculate that this button is essentially a search button, right? Where maybe you're on a boss fight and you're really struggling to get through it, so all you do is press this button. It takes you to a walkthrough, it takes you to a YouTube link where you can easily see how someone got through it, jump right back into the game, and take things off from there, which I think would be a very groovy thing to have in a Google platform, considering Google does have their own search engine. So them finding ways to incorporate other services that they already have into this platform is going to be where I think they can make things very different. Now, there's also a icon, at least on the controller, where it's a microphone. So maybe they even have a built-in microphone. Maybe you can speak to the microphone and have it do commands, sort of like you do with the PlayStation camera or the Kinect, where you can speak to that camera and have the console go to certain things for you or do certain actions. Much remains to be seen on this. Like I said, hopefully this isn't the final control scheme. I think it's very ugly. I think it looks very uncomfortable. Time will tell, though. Google also has been in the works for a streaming service. As some of you may know, they already did some sort of streaming service with the most recent Assassin's Creed game, which from what I hear went very well. So it possibly is a streaming platform. We've heard Xbox talk about how streaming is the future of gaming, and Google is just trying to put their foot in the door with a gaming platform. So I think it would be very vital for them to take a leap into the future and start off strong, or else they're going to get drowned out very easily and very quickly by the other gaming giants. Nintendo's been taking no prisoners recently with all the software they've been releasing and the success of the Nintendo Switch. PlayStation, they've just really been doing their thing this past generation, and all signs go to show that they're not going to let up next generation. Xbox, for the most part, has been on the struggle bus Phil Spencer's really been hanging in there for the platform. They've been doing a great job catching up, and I think next generation, they're really going to come out guns blazing. So Google really needs to do the same thing here, and a way for them to do that is have their console be future-proof and have that be a streaming platform as well. They're very technologically driven, and I feel like future-oriented as well. So I definitely think that this is a direction that Google is going to take their platform. Also, some days ago, Google released an actual teaser trailer for their event at GDC. And this teaser trailer really just consisted of what appears to be various game concepts, and the camera is slowly dollying towards this point, this focal point of light in, whatever the setting is. Now, this could simply be just a reference to the fact that they're coming out with a gaming console and they're displaying how they're going to have all these different access to all these great looking games, and they might just be multi-platform games for all we know. You have references to a racer, you have references to a medieval game, you have references to what appear to be some sort of army game or special ops game when you're in the airplane. You're also going through this forest which looks reminiscent of Ori and the Blind Forest. So is this a reference to how they're going to be access to multi-platform games? Are these references to exclusive games that Google will be announcing on their platform? We really don't know. These are simply concepts, guys. We have no idea exactly what these are references towards. In my personal opinion, if Google is going to be a serious contender for the console war and they're jumping in at this point in time, not only do they need to do something that's going to make their console future-proof, but they need about a handful of very hard-hitting games. I'm talking in the realm of 3 to 5 games that are slobber knockers. Does more really need to be said on this when you look at recent exclusives that have been released by Sony, that have been released by Nintendo, a handful of the really good ones that have been released by Xbox, and you see all these acquisitions that Xbox has done on these gaming studios, and they're taking things very seriously with their upcoming games. Google really needs to show that they're a place where it's worthwhile for me as a gamer to invest my money. Because to be completely honest, at this point in time, I'm not interested in obtaining a console from Google. They already know what type of pornography I look up. I don't know if I really want them to know all the details of the games I'm playing as well here. I think it would be a very cool thing if all these games that they alluded to were exclusive games. I think it's a promising thing as a gamer to see that they're going to have a variety of a lineup as well. They're not going to be, specifically focused in on one type of genre. They're just trying to show, hey, we have, what kind of gamer are you? We got it here. I will say, going into the next generation, where I currently have a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One, going into the next gen, I really think I'm just going to focus in on one platform. I didn't focus a lot of attention on my Xbox. It might be because I was extremely disappointed by the brand this past generation, and Sony did so well potentially. However, I just got to say, when it comes to my money and when it comes to my time, I'm probably just going to focus in on one platform next generation. I plan on going digital only. If you look at my library now, I would say about 90-95% of it is physical owned games. So I do want to definitely go ahead and focus on digital only streaming as type of gaming, but I'm really only looking to invest on one platform. And even if Google does a good job with their platform, I have a history with Sony. I have a history even with Xbox as well. And hell, if I wasn't looking to invest in their future, I would potentially go to the Switch first. So Google is going to have a very difficult uphill battle to climb, in my opinion. They have to hit it right with the price point. They have to hit it right with the games as well that they're going to be releasing. And who knows, we don't even know who this console is for. Is this for casual gamers? Is this, is this for hardcore gamers? Are they looking to have a dedicated community of players? Google really seems to be taking this very seriously. I believe there have been reports that they've been working with Sega presumably on this console. Maybe this is Sega's Trojan horse to getting back into the console race. Also, you have to consider Google's been working with some people from the industry. I believe Phil Harrison is his name. You guys might remember him primarily being from the Sony camp, but also at a point in time being with the Microsoft gaming division as well. Additionally, you have to consider how Google has been partnering with, I forget her name, but she worked with Ubisoft and she did stuff for Assassin's Creed, Splinter Cell, I think even Star Wars Battlefront. So we can definitely tell Google is taking things very seriously. These are the people who we know that they have officially gotten on their team. We don't know behind the scenes who else they've been working with and what they've been developing. But guys, all this is really speculation. We're just a mere 2 days away from this event going down and seeing what Google has in store for the gaming community. I gotta say, to begin with, I'm not interested. I'm not on board with it. I'm not that big of a fan of Google as a company. They're not ones for playing fair. They don't like to share things either. Either this is going to be a failure and it'll fade away and Google has, the money to really spare it. Maybe it'll be a resounding success and maybe these other gaming giants, Nintendo, Xbox, and Sony need to be worried. And I gotta say, as a gamer who has been a fan of these companies for quite some time, I would be concerned with that. Google certainly has the money, they certainly have the influence to endure a race with these other tech giants to try to drain the lifeblood out of them. And I just really hope that Nintendo and Xbox and Sony all hang in there, if that is the case with Google. We'll see what happens, guys. Definitely keep an eye out for a video. We'll talk more about this as details come out. My eyes are definitely peeled on this one. Once again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in on the Council of Trolls. Please be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, why don't you go ahead and share it with a person or two. Let's go ahead and get the word out there of the gaming page that we have going on here on YouTube. Love you all. I'm Vinny the Villain. I'm out. See you next time.